And I want to ask you, have you ever been to a masquerade? To see the parade of people play people. What a charade! How can you go to a masquerade if you do not know your role or soul? It's paradoxical, but they hide so well. We all have masks because as we go through life, we often have to be someone who we're not. I wonder how many of the people we work with are going through that situation. And maybe they're hurt. They just can't show because they've had to put so many masks on for not being understood. So I want to give you a chance to understand yourself in a new way. What I teach you is to be yourself, to be authentic, to step into your gifts and talents and your passion and your values and live those to the highest level. And although I'm going to focus on you today, you're going to take my authenticity assessment, which asks questions about you personally. What you're going to learn, you can apply to your family, you can apply to your clients, and you can even apply it to the entire organization that you're working with. And then I'm also taking it to corporate. Now the corporate is more the guy with the term of authentic leadership. Because in authentic leadership, what's important is that leaders can transition from the old industrial age thinking and way of leadership to the empowerment age way of leadership. If you go back to 1760, in 1760 we all did for ourselves. We made our own clothes, we did our own shoes, we planted our own vegetables and killed our own animals to eat, or we bartered. And then came assembly lines, and things could be done faster and break it down. And the whole thing you did was get your employees to do it faster, 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 faster. It didn't matter what you thought about it, as long as you did something faster. Now we're in the information age, and the information age is about critical thinking. So bosses say, go figure out, find the answer, bring it back to me. And let's discuss it. It's no longer about the fastness and the rapidness, although that's always important, but it's more about how you can help me answer the questions. And we're moving to the empowerment age. And the empowerment age is for the millennials and for those others who recognize, I got gifts. I have things to offer the world. Let me out. Let me go do for the world what I can do, rather than just do widgets or just answer the question. Let's talk about what I bring to the table. So we take this program to help build transformational leaders, because all the research says that authentic leaders, the first thing about being an authentic leader is self. I realize I have three voices within me, and other people do too. We all have an inner voice, an outer voice, and an expressive voice. And the inner voice is the voice that no one hears but you. It talks to you privately. You hear different environments call it different things. And for today, we're going to call it your inner voice. We're going to talk about that. We all have an outer voice. An outer voice is how you are perceived by other people. You know, when you walk into a room, people make an immediate assumption about who you are and what you're all about. They don't know a darn thing about what's going on in your head. All they know is what they see. And sometimes they stop there and that's the conclusion of who you are. And then the expressive voice is who you have become and how you live your life. And each of those has three dimensions. And you're going to get a chance to assess yourself in each of those dimensions today and see what one thing maybe you can tweak in your life in order to become more authentic. Let's talk about intuition. So let me ask you, how many of you in the room feel that you are intuitive? Raise your hand. Well, I didn't see all the hands. I can talk about half the hands up. But I can guarantee that every one of you is intuitive, and I can tell just by looking at you. And you want to know how I know that? Because you all came in here today with clothes on. At some point you ask yourself, what am I going to wear today? Did anybody ask that out loud? There's usually a couple in the room, right? Did you answer out loud as well? Sometimes they ask out loud and don't answer out loud. But most of us just ask, quietly in our mind. Either the night before or that morning, what are we going to wear today? And I see everybody walking the clothes. It's the same thing you ask yourself when you say, what are going to eat? Or what time is it? And these are things most of us say every single day. So if you look at how you get the answer, does the answer come as a thought, as a feeling, as a memory, as something in your gut? That gives you a sense of how your inner voice speaks to you, how your intuition comes. For intuition, are you listening and responding to the quiet voice within you? Score yourself a 1 to 3 if your answer is, I didn't know I had a voice within. 4 to 7 if you found it and you're beginning to access it. And 8 to 10 if you allow your inner voice to lead and direct you. And even though we think we're walking the right path, if we don't make a decision to be authentic with ourselves, then by default, chances are we're not. But people sometimes are like autopilot. Autopilot is the enemy of authenticity. If you find yourself just mindlessly doing something out of habit, you probably stepped a bit out of your authenticity. When you get out of autopilot, you are clear, you're waking up, you're more aware of what you should be doing. So what we bring to you today is a resource that you can use as a self-coaching tool. So how would you feel if you get a challenge, you don't know quite what to do with it, and you have a document in your hand that you could look at, and it can help you figure out how to figure out your next step? Because that's the biggest challenge we all have to do. What do I do next? When the fork in the road comes, do I go right or do I go left? Let's talk about interpreting your scores. So everybody wants to know, what's my score, right? And you read the little piece on the back. But now let's go deeper, because I see 16 different scores when you do this. You just saw one. Where is your highest score? Are you a thinker? Are you a communicator? Or are you a doer? But if you're a thinker, your default is to think and figure things out, right? And not so much to get up and do something about what you thought about. So on your team, you need some doers. In your household, you need some doers. If you and your husband are both thinkers, then you guys are having a great time creating and changing the world, but you're not doing anything about it, okay? And on your work team particularly, you need that also, that balance. Likewise, if you're a doer, you need a thinker around, because you like to do and not to plan and evaluate. Being authentic gives clarity. Secondly, you get confirmation. You get confirmation, this is the right next step. And I was thinking about all these things, but wow, I look at my network and maybe I need to make a change. So I get confirmation. And then that gives you courage. What we suggest you do is find your low score, and it might be more than one that has the same low score number, and find one thing to tweak in the area of your low score. And what that can do is totally change your life. One small tweak can blossom out to major change in your life. So it's not like change your life around. Just take one tweak.